There was a time when Wall Street was a magical place and even a boy from humble beginnings, if smart, could become a millionaire. It was the time of the railroad boom, the industrialization of the United States. It was the time of great businessmen like J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller, but it was also the time of one of the most loved traders on Wall Street. This is the story of Jersey Livermore. Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today, we talk about a legendary trader, an icon for all Wall Street traders, Jesse Livermore. Before we begin, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Activate the bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos. Jesse was born on July 26, 1877 near Boston in a farming family. Let's say that his son's education is the least of his father's problems, but nevertheless, the boy learns to read and write at only 3.5 years of age, and at the age of 5 he begins to read his first finance lists. After reaching the age of 14, he is forced by his father to leave school to work in the fields, but young Livermore finds this life difficult and, together with his mother, devises a plan to sneak away from his father. So in 1891 he left his parents' home with $5 in his pocket, which today would be about $160. He got a job in a financial brokerage firm that was not bad, but his job was to write down the prices that arrived in real time from the stock exchange, with his salary being $5 a week. The young man uses this experience to further his study of financial markets, so Livermore decides to put his studies into practice by investing in bucket shops. In reality, they were fake brokers, more like a betting center than a stock exchange. In fact, they gave the possibility of betting on the price trend of a share or a commodity. We speak of a bet because the underlying share or commodity was not actually delivered to the customer. These are not very honest entities, but suitable for people like Livermore who want to try and make money from the performance of financial securities without having to invest too much money. It was a bit like horse racing. Livermore saw something more in it. According to him, share prices did not fluctuate randomly, but always for some reason. So it was necessary to study the company's performance, i.e. to understand what factors made the price of its shares rise or fall. After a few attempts and a lot of study, Livermore managed to make his first profits at the bucket shops until, at only 15 years old, he was able to make $1,000 profit from these bets, about $30,000 today. Livermore then decided to devote himself full-time to this new business and quit his job, but at some point the owners of the various bucket shops in Boston began to think he was up to a trick, and for this reason he was banned from all the bucket shops in the city. Then at the age of 23, he decides it's time to get serious about betting, and the time has come to approve the New York Stock Exchange. Livermore is lucky enough to find a bull market moment at the New York Stock Exchange and manages to make his first profits on the real exchange by applying the same methods he used with the bucket shop. In 1906 came the first breakthrough. On the advice of an acquaintance, Livermore opened a short position on the Union Pacific and Road Railroad Company. It had grown too large, and exactly the next day the famous San Francisco earthquake occurred, creating many losses. After the fire, there will be a series of measures put in place to restore the economy, including the Help Burn Act. Among other things, this law imposed low fixed rates for the railway sector, which was at that time a bubble period. This law caused the value of all listed railway companies to plummet, including the Union Pacific and Road. Livermore was lucky enough to earn $250,000 with the collapse of the Union Pacific. Thanks to these early profits, Livermore's name began to become known throughout Wall Street. The aftermath of 1906, combined with other problems in the American economy at the time, resulted in the outbreak of the crisis of 1907. When the crisis broke out, Livermore began to open a series of short positions, and as the market collapsed, the open positions earned him a lot of money, as much as $1 million in a single day. In addition to attracting the envy of many for the profits made, Livermore also attracts the attention of many big Wall Street. In particular, one day he was even contacted by JP Morgan, which was already an institution, and all the bankers were begging him to save the day. The problem is that Livermore continues to open short positions, destabilizing the market. Of course, he was one of many. Then JP Morgan contacted Livermore asking him to stop. He's still relatively young, respects the figure of JP Morgan, and decides to stop betting on the market crash, but will do much more. Since JP Morgan is asking everyone to stop investing against the market, he starts reinvesting the money he makes in the market by buying shares in strategic companies, and many investors looking for gains start copying his purchases. By doing so, Livermore leads the market recovery and is elected savior of the US economy, at least by the circle of Wall Street traders. When the market rose again, the shares Livermore bought increased in value, and he became a multimillionaire at only 30 years of age. When the Black Crisis on Wall Street broke out in 1929, Livermore was not unprepared. He had already foreseen the collapse and had adequately hedged himself and, of course, with his favorite instrument, short positions. Thanks to these positions, Livermore earned $100 million from the collapse of the market. And then something happened, something that was lost in his mythical story, and that perhaps is a negative thing linked to Livermore. In fact, a few years later, he found himself bankrupt. Perhaps also a little due to the life of a stock market wolf that he had begun to lead. We talk about villas, swimming pools, parties, and so on, but perhaps also because of some personal and family problems. On the 28th of November 1940, Livermore was found dead in the cloakroom of the Sherry Netherland in Manhattan. According to the authorities, he had shot himself. He was only 63 years old. His story is certainly very interesting to understand as a fascinating Wall Street trader, but whether his fame is deserved or not, I leave it to you. We will now leave you with some of his most important quotes. Trading is the most fascinating job in the world. Trust your opinions only when the market confirms them. After spending many years on Wall Street and having made and lost millions of dollars, I want to tell you this: it was never my ideas that made me much. Thank you all for watching the video so far. Let us know in the comments where we can improve and what you would be interested in exploring in future videos. If you liked the video, leave a like and a comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Let us know what stories you would like to see in future videos.